Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, thank you.
Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I think so.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, great. Okay, so let's begin today's session. Connect straight. Gently and start observing the breath. Just turn your attention to your straight. Leave the neck, shoulders loose. And slowly begin to deepen your breath, going into the practice. Inhale, then hold the breath for about 2 seconds, and then go into the practice of Rechaka exhalation. And continue this pattern of breath. Don't force the retention. If you feel uncomfortable, you can just practice Puraka and Rechaka. We'll chant Om 3 times, followed by 3 Shantis. Exhale completely, and then inhale for Om. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Just feel the vibrations together and from chest and the palms very slowly while breathing, and open up your eyes, come back with a smile, and namaste to everyone. Let us begin today's session. So at any point of time, my voice starts breaking, or write it down in the chat box. Just so today we are starting with the next practice. Once again, this is a pre-practice of pranayam. Okay? It's breaking already. Okay. Ouch. Just give me a moment. Let me change my position. Okay, so I think it should be better now. Can you guys hear me properly?
Yes.
It's better now.
Oh, better. Okay, great. Okay, so today we are starting with the, as I was telling you, so we are starting with the practice of Kapalbhati or Kapalshodhana. So it's known by two names. I will write this down in the chat box. Kapalbhati or Kapalshodhana, Kapalbhati, Kapalbhati, and Kapalshodhana is Kapalshodhana. Okay. So the word Kapal means forehead. Bhati means it has multiple meanings. So one meaning is light. It also has the meaning of knowledge. So it's a practice in which basically you experience that state of light, that state of knowledge when you go into the practice. The name Kapal Shodhana, so Kapal one's forehead, sorry, that's forehead. So the word Kapal means the same, and Shodhana is purification. So Kapal Shodhana. So how is this light state? How are you experiencing this light state? Because it's a cleansing practice. So it purifies the um, your forehead region basically. Yeah. So it's a practice. When you go deeper into this practice, you will experience the cleansing of the forehead region. And it in modern times it's called Kapalbhati pranayam. However, it is actually, if you go to Hatha yogic text, it is not a pranayam, it is a practice that comes under Shat Karma. Okay, so more in modern times it has turned into a pranayam, but the original practice, the one we're going to learn, is a practice of Shat Karma, or the six cleansing practices. It is one of them. So you guys do Jal Neti, Sutra Neti. It's out of one of these practices where we do Kapalbhati. And if you go to Hatha Yoga Pradipika, then you will find that in the second chapter, there is a mention of the practices of Shat Karma. In the chapter of Pranayam only, there is a mention of Shat Karma. So after Nadi Shodhan is introduced, after that, uh, the text says that if your Vat, Pitta and Kapha, the three doshas are not balanced, that is when you will practice Shat Karma. Otherwise, there is no need to practice Shat Karma. Okay. This is as per Hatha Yoga Pradipika. And Gheran Samhita, the text starts with the practices of cleansing or Shat Karma only. There, as the time moved forward, it was seen that first it was necessary to cleanse the body. But in the time of Hatha Yoga Pradipika, when that text was written, after the practice of asana, when your Vat, Pitta, Kapha, if they're not balanced, then you go into the practice of Kapalbhati. Okay. So now we understood the meaning of the practice from the name. Let me tell you the posture. So this practice is generally performed in any sitting posture. However, Padmasana is generally preferred if you're going for this practice. Why? Because this practice gives immense pressure on the abdomen, and as a result, because abdomen is connected to the lower back, so when you go into this practice, because there is extreme pressure on the abdomen, the lower back is also impacted and heavily impacted. So if your lower back, if there is a hunch on the lower back, then what will happen is you will one thing, you will create a problem even if there is no problem over there. Okay, so the practice of Kapalbhati should always be done with a straight back, especially the lower back you have to take care of when you're doing Kapalbhati. Second thing is that some people experience pain in the lower back after the practice of Kapalbhati. So that means you're not doing it properly, because even though it is a practice where you are actively exhaling and engaging your abdomen, if your lower back is getting impacted by that, if there is pain in the lower back, that means the posture is not right. So for this practice, generally people sit either in Padmasana or Ardha Padmasana, because when you lock the body in that posture, you make sure that the back remains straight. When you sit in Padmasana, it is very difficult for you to give a hunch on your back, because that posture automatically locks the lower body, and the position is such that the back has to remain straight. Okay, so preferred posture is Padmasana. However, if you get established in the practice and you feel comfortable, you can go ahead and practice it in any sitting posture in which the spine remains straight. Okay, so with the with regard to the mudra, you can adopt any hand mudra. However, sometimes what we do is when I'll demonstrate, I'll show it to you. We sometimes place pressure on the knees, like palms are turned downwards, and we place pressure on the knees, and we shift the body weight ahead uh, in the front portion so that the lower back remains straight. So that is another like position that you can adopt when you're doing Kapalbhati. I'll show this position when I demonstrate the practice to you guys. But otherwise, you can just normally keep your hands on the knees, or you can go for any mudra. Okay, next let's come to the number of
Ha-
rounds.
have we already done a class on mudras?
Mudras, no, not on mudras, but I think I did mention you don't have a lot of mudras in the course though. Like they are only basic mudras, hand mudras that you have. I'll show you, like when I demonstrate right now, I will show you how you have to place your hand, and I'll tell you about a few mudras that you can adopt during pranayam practice. Okay, that is what you
Okay.
can do. Yeah. Okay. So next thing that we have to do in this practice, so I was telling about the number of rounds. So generally, when you begin, 10 to 15 rounds are sufficient, and after that, you can go up to 50 rounds if you want. But very gradually increase your practice. Don't go for maybe 10 rounds today and tomorrow you're going for 30 rounds. So go for increase the number of rounds as per your own capacity. So currently the weather is changing for all of us, like at least people who are located in India, we are having the rainy season over here. So but when the rain ends, there's a lot of heat, or it's there's a lot of humidity also, but overall it's like, you know, there's a lot of heat in the environment. So this practice also produces heat in the body. Okay, so when you practice Kapalbhati, you will experience a rise in the body temperature. So don't go for a lot of rounds in summers. You can increase your practice during winters, especially on the beginner level. Like mostly I'm talking about the beginner level. So right now, if you experience like students who are in India, if you experience a lot of heat or discomfort during the practice, then just suspend the practice. And in winters, this will help you to increase the body heat. So it's a very good practice for people who suffer from low BP. Yeah. Also, like this practice has multiple advantages. So let me just enlist a few of them. So because you are contracting the abdomen, all the organs in the abdominal region are stimulated. Digestion becomes better. The muscles of the abdomen are toned, and problems like this is a very good practice for problems like diabetes also, because you need stimulation. Yeah, when there's diabetes, stimulation is required. So practices that relate to the abdomen, they're very good for diabetes. So Kapalbhati also works on that. The carbon dioxide in the body is expelled properly. So one way in which the toxins are being cleansed from the body is this also. So when you consciously, like when you place your emphasis on exhalation, and the inhalation goes on passively. Okay, so your focus is on exhaling. So the carbon dioxide from the body is expelled out properly. Overall, it has shown to improve the memory and it also leads to proper oxygenation in the body. Each and every cell receives oxygen properly when you go into this practice. So after practicing Kapalbhati, a lot of people experience a state of emptiness. So mentally, you are very calm, and there is a sense of emptiness in the thoughts. There are no thoughts. You just you're with the feeling of the practice. As your experience increases in this practice, you will also reach a stage where the mind becomes empty. It's very calm and peaceful. At the same time, the body is getting active. See, so it's helping you to calm down the mind, but on a bodily level, the overall heart rate, all of these things increase a little bit. Then it's also very good for most of the mental disorders. People with depression, it's very good for them, like this practice, Kapalbhati. It also, like on a spiritual level, also, like I said, so it's cleaning the forehead area, like it's working in that area. So when this starts happening, so the third eye, this is the place, the uh, area between both the eyebrows, that is where your third eye is. So the activation of the third eye is set to take place when you practice Kapalbhati. And or the third eye is connected with your intuition. So perceiving things, understanding what your inner voice is. So it Kapalbhati overall helps you to reduce the sound of the mind, to hear that inner sound, connect with that inner self. These are like some of the benefits of Kapalbhati. You'll find multiple benefits again. And as you change the technique also, you will find multiple techniques also. So as you change the technique, the benefits will also change a little bit with the technique. Let's come to the precautions. So people who are um, suffering from high BP, heart problems, vertigo, hernia, ulcers, all of these gastric ulcers. So these problems will like get aggravated if you practice Kapalbhati. So if you're facing any of these issues, do not practice. If you've had any recent surgery, especially pertaining to the abdominal region, back region, then avoid this practice. Uh, at the time of disc herniation, so this like spine region, when the disc there's herniation in the disc, then also avoid this practice. For females, if they're going through their menstrual cycle, they should avoid this practice. Wait for the cycle to subside, yeah, because it places immense pressure on the abdomen. So you don't want to uh, specifically go and aggravate. Already there is a lot of cleansing that is going on during that time, and overall the abdomen region is heavily affected. So just avoid that practice. During pregnancy also, females are not supposed to go for this practice.
What about people suffering from acid refluxes and constipation, should they do it or they should not do it?
Sorry, once again, can you repeat?
What about people suffering from gastrointestinal problems like acid reflux or gastritis and constipation? Should they do it or not?
So acidity, all of these like cases, less practice, at least less practice, because what this does is it increases the digestive fire. So for people who have acidity, these issues, already the HCl production is high at that point of time. So they shouldn't go for like Kapalbhati, or at least go for less rounds, because again it's working on that. For constipation, let me get back to you tomorrow, because I'm not very sure. I think that it should help, but I will have to check this once. For constipation, does it help or not? Okay, so that I'll get back to you tomorrow. But at least for acidity, gastritis, these issues,
Gastritis.
gastritis. Okay, thank you. Yeah, as far as I have, as far as my understanding, it should generally be avoided. Also, for people who have sinusitis, so this practice should be done with less pressure. So because the sinuses get aggravated during this practice, so if you have sinusitis, then go for, like, if your stroke is like, because there is a lot of pressure that we place on the abdomen, and then the breath comes out, so it disturbs the sinuses. Okay, so go for, uh, the intensity of the stroke should be less. So let me find a suitable spot and then demonstrate this practice to you. Okay. Okay. So you're going to place both the palms on your knees if you're not confident that your lower back will remain straight. And then you have to, like, if this is my normal sitting position, I will bend a little bit forward. Okay, so now I'm leaning a little bit forward, placing my palms down. on the knees, and this will ensure that lower back is straight. Okay, so when I place pressure on the palms, I will straighten out my back with this posture. If you feel confident that your back is straight, that's okay. Let me show you from the side also. So my body is going forward. Yeah, my neck is straight, but my body is actually leaning forward, and then I'm placing this weight over here. So this is how you can just normal Padmasana. So one leg over here and then the other leg over here. So this is your Padmasana, the lock. Okay, this one. Or you can also go for Ardha Padmasana. So you can take one leg, place it at the root of the thigh, and the other leg will go down over here. This is how you go for Ardha Padmasana. This is supporting the knee, and this is going in the lotus pose only. So this is the another position that you can adopt. Now about the hand position. So you can just like, if you're going for that position, your hands already have a way of like, staying on the knees. So palms will be down and weight will be placed forward. If you are not adopting this, you're going for Padmasana, then you can either adopt Chin Mudra, in which you're joining the index finger and the thumb together. Okay. When you do this, there should be a pressure between the tips. Okay. One thing is you're not going like this, you're joining the tips. So this position is coming in, and the the remaining three fingers, they're going to remain straight. And again, because whenever you form mudras, you are pressing certain points on the body. So make sure when you're forming this mudra, your hand is not lax like this. Your hand is properly placed. So it's properly placed on the knee, and rest three fingers also, there should be awareness of the mudra. There should be awareness of how your fingers are. These three fingers will not remain like this straight. And this will press. Now, pressing doesn't mean that you're applying unnecessary pressure. No, just make sure you have to press it. No, it's just that they're touching, and when they're touching, there is a pressure when you are forming the chin mudra. So this is your chin mudra. You can either go for this, you can also go for Vayu mudra. How do you do the Vayu mudra? You will gently fold the index to the thumb. Remaining fingers will remain together. So Vayu mudra. Almost same as Chin mudra. Over there you are joining these two. Now you're going to this. Okay. So these are the so same as Chin mudra, index finger and thumb meet together. And then it is palms. Vayu mudra, Gyan mudra is palms down. So this is how you can place your hand. So it's totally up to you. Whichever mudra you connect with, you can go ahead and adopt that mudra. So let me just demonstrate. Am I visible to other people? Let me go for this once again. Am I
You keep
visible
freezing.
now? No. Oh, I keep freezing. Okay. Then give me one more moment. Okay. 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 Now I should be properly visible and the video shouldn't freeze.
Yeah, better, much better.
Okay. So one more second. Okay. So this is how you sit. So one position was this, that I place my hands on my knees and press down. Yeah, my neck will remain straight over here. So when I'm pressing down, the body shifted ahead and I'm making sure that the lower back is straight. The other position was Ardha Padmasana. So I'm going to demonstrate once again all of these things. So sorry, Padmasana. So first let's look at Padmasana. So this is Padmasana. You can go ahead, sit like this if you're comfortable, or you can go for half lotus pose at the Padmasana. Yeah. Third one is this. So if you can't sit in Padmasana, take one leg up above where your at the root of the thigh, and the second leg is placed below over here. So I'm placing it down below where my knee is. This is where my foot will come. Okay, so it will support. This is Ardha Padmasana. For the mudras, I was telling you. So for the mudras, what you can do is, so for the mudras, you can go ahead, form chin mudra, join the index finger and the thumb. Don't go for this, go for this. Okay. So first thing is the joining point, and then rest of the three fingers will remain straight. Okay, and you can gently place it on the knee like this, and maintain the awareness when you are doing this mudra. You can also go for the opposite of this Gyan mudra. So you can just have to flip your hands, and then you will place it on the knee. Okay. So this is Gyan mudra. This is also one mudra that you can adopt. Another mudra that you can adopt is the Vayu mudra. So just place the index finger on the root of the thumb. So and rest three fingers will remain together. So Vayu mudra. Again, you're pressing a point over here. So just make sure that you're not leaving the hand lax. Just properly form this mudra with both the hands, and then once again place them on the knee. So it's totally up to you. You can keep your palms like this, keep the palms open, or you can just form this shape and keep your palms like this also on the knees. So it's totally up to you. However you feel comfortable, you can go ahead, form that mudra. Okay. So let me just demonstrate the practice once to you, how you're going to practice Kapalbhati. Okay. So just keep an eye out for my abdomen, how I'm contracting the abdomen. And you have to make sure that your face is completely relaxed, your shoulders are completely relaxed. So generally when people perform Kapalbhati, either their shoulders start moving, or they feel that they are forcing the air out of the nostrils, so their expression changes completely. So you have to take care of this thing when you are doing Kapalbhati, because the pressure of exhalation is coming from the abdomen. Okay. So when the pressure of the exhalation is coming from the abdomen, there is no role that the nose is playing apart from expelling out that air. So pressure is coming from here. No requirement of pressure from here. Okay. So let me just demonstrate this practice once. Okay. So first we'll go for 3 breaths. So we're just going to inhale and exhale 3 times, which will give us some time to prepare the body to go into this rigorous process. So we'll just inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And after the third inhalation, we will start the practice. So inhale and then begin the practice. Okay. When you're going for the last exhalation, completely exhale out the air. So go for a longer exhalation. So this thing which is happening, like in the last breath when I'm doing this, so the air is completely expelled out, and then just leave the body. Okay, so spine will remain straight, but just allow the body to breathe as it wants to breathe. Sometimes the body doesn't feel like breathing. Okay, so after the practice of Kapalbhati, sometimes what happens is you don't feel like breathing at all. So that's also okay. If you want to go for like breathing after the practice, then go for the way in which your body wants to acquire the breath. Do not force the inhalation exhalation that is it. Okay. So mostly what I'm doing is I'm just pulling the abdomen in and exhaling the breath out. Inhalation is happening on its own. I'm not concerned about the inhalation. The body will acquire the breath between 2 rounds of Kapalbhati. So you can go at a slower pace also. You can go at a faster pace also, but I would highly recommend that you go at a slower pace or go at medium pace. Do not go at fast pace. So generally what people do is they complete the practice of Kapalbhati very fast, and as a result they are not completely engaging their abdomen. So you have to completely pull your abdomen in some text. It has been said that the navel, you should pull in the navel so much that it touches the spine. Okay. So what they do is they go for fast rounds where the abdomen is not engaged. Another thing that happens in the practice of Kapalbhati is that people start very fast, and by the end their flow is gone. They start running out of breath, and they're not able to practice for a long period of time, or by the end of it their stroke becomes very like different from the first stroke. Okay. So you have to keep in mind that the first stroke and the last stroke should be equal. Okay. So equal intensity, equal pressure, and you're taking equal amount of time. If that thing is changing, you have to work on making it consistent throughout the practice. Okay. So any doubts in any of the things that I have explained? Is the practice clear?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, great. So let's go for one round. We don't have a lot of time left right now. So we'll go for just one round, and we're going to go for 20 breaths in that. After the, when you reach the 20th stroke, then just completely exhale, and you can just if you're leaning ahead, just go back to the normal position and just observe the breath. Okay. And then we'll end the session. If we have time in the future classes, I'll make you practice more of Kapalbhati, but today just to experience, let's go for one round, 20 strokes. Okay. So everybody just sit up on your mats, and you can just gently close the eyes. And observe the breath. And observe the body posture once. Back neck straight, eyes are closed, and your neck and shoulders are relaxed. Relax the face muscles and gently come back to breath. And slowly allow your breath to go into a very deep and relaxed state. And we're going to go for the 3 breaths. So mentally prepare yourself for the practice of Kapalbhati. Exhale completely, and then we'll begin. Start to inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And then begin your practice, going for 20 strokes. Exhale completely and relax the body. Just observe the breath. Keep your focus on the abdominal breathing. And then shift the attention to the eyebrow center. And let's close the session with one Om Mantra Shanti. So inhale deeply for Om. Om. Shan, Shan, Shanti. Just feel the vibrations and sensations. Join both the palms together in front of the chest and rub both the palms together. Place them on the eyes very slowly while blinking and looking at the palms. Open up your eyes. Come back with a smile. And namaste to everyone. Did anyone face any issues while practicing? Any doubts? And the mudra, are the arms meant to be straight? Can they be? Yes, yes, yes. So it's they can be bent. So if I'm placing them like this, so slightly the arms can be bent so that they reach the knees properly. If your hands are straight and they reach the knees, that's also okay. But it should touch the knee. Okay, so when it's placed on the knee, it should be like it shouldn't go beyond the knee. It should touch the knee. So if you're going for that position, then the elbows will be bent. Otherwise, if your hands are going ahead, they're going forward, they're not. Just check the position. If you are keeping your hands straight, they will always go beyond the knees. In most cases, they go beyond the knees. Okay. So I personally go for little bit bent elbows, and that is how my hand is placed on the knee. So you can just check if it's working for you, like your hands are still reaching the knee without bending them. Like, so for some people, if they if their elbows are straight and they place it on the knee, it's okay. You can check for yourself. Any other doubts? Right.
Um, I just read somewhere that
Mhm.
this Kapalbhati should be practiced only after practicing the alternate breathing for 1 or 2 months. Then only we should start the practice of Kapalbhati.
Where did you read this?
I have a book actually.
Yeah, yeah. Can
So
you?
it is by Swami Vishnudevanand. So I have been following this. So in his book only he has mentioned this thing that only after practicing alternate breathing, the second type of alternate breathing for 1 or 2 months, then only the person should go for Kapalbhati, because many people are not able to open their diaphragm properly while breathing. So the Kapalbhati might have a side effect if their diaphragm is not opening properly. They might while breathing in, they might take the diaphragm in opposite direction comparatively to bringing it, to opening it properly.
That is why I introduced like the three sectional breathings, and I've constantly repeated that in the classes because it's a 1 month course and you have so
Yeah.
much like practices. So
No, I'm
for
just
the
asking that
classes,
since once we start teaching, so that means until and unless we have made a student practice Nadi Shodhan or alternate breathing for a month or two, we should not allow or tell that student to practice Kapalbhati, is it? Yes?
see, according to him, that is the case. If you go to different texts, you will find different timelines also. And when so the books will tell you something, and that's good for you to follow. But when you meet different people, they will have their own capacity and capability. Some people will take a very long time just to perfect abdominal breathing, but some people are already following abdominal breathing, so for them the practice of abdominal breathing is not required. So it depends from person to person. And once again, like I told you, if their Vata, Pitta and Kapha is balanced, suppose, so they don't need to go for the practice of Shat Karma. So they can avoid Kapal Bhati. There's no need to go there. They can move ahead.
But the problem is, how do we check that the person who's coming to us for practice, how do we know whether his alternate breathing and his Vata Pitta Kapha are in balance? So we should give him this pranayam, or we should not give him this pranayam. How do we know that before giving it to the person? We'll get, let's say, it's a class of 10 people, right? So I cannot ask all 10 of them to do it, right? So if I have to see individually, how do I come to know who should I give it and who should I not give it right now at that moment?
So generally what happens in group classes is, one thing, you ensure that they are all healthy and fit. That is one basis. So even if, see, because when you are introducing it in a 1 hour, 1.5 hour class, you won't be giving it a lot of time, right? So practically, a yogi practices all of these things. He or she gives this practice a lot of time, but they won't be practicing for that longer time. So it won't have those severe side effects. Okay, one thing is that I'm telling you because you're asking about group class. So in group class, you will find multiple people practicing together. So
Yeah.
one thing is, the when you introduce, even if they practice for 1 or 2 days, they will not see very um, intense side effects like you are reading right now. Okay, one thing is you need to be very continuous. Second thing is, when you observe each and every one of them, that is when you will, that is how you will grow as a teacher. Because See, when I'm teaching it to you, right now I'm not able to observe you guys. Everybody's camera is off. But when I see someone practice, you will intuitively gain an understanding by the way in which they're practicing. Yeah, you will
Okay.
get an understanding if they are ready for that practice or they're not. If they're not, take them to one step, like take them one step back. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So that is how you will have to go about it, because a teacher will only be able to gain that understanding when they view the students, and that is how they check the capability. So that is how you will have to go about it. As you gain experience, you will gain more understanding. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other doubts? So one thing I saw in the chat box, so let me just address that. So you feel cold after practicing. So ideally, it generates a lot of heat, but it sometimes gives some dizziness. So maybe you're experiencing dizziness instead of a cold temperature. Can you clarify on that?
Hi, yeah, I get so cold, freezing. I get goosebumps. I'm really cold, yeah. I don't know why, how. Every time I do this, I always get so cold. Yeah.
So next time when you're practicing, maybe tomorrow I will try that we repeat the practice of Kapalbhati. Maybe you can turn on your camera so that I can see if you're doing it properly or not. Because sometimes if you're not able to perform it properly, the opposite thing might happen. But generally, people feel dizziness instead of feeling cold. So I'm like, I will have to observe you for this. So tomorrow, if we are practicing Kapalbhati, just make sure that you switch on your camera so that I can observe you. Okay.
I thought maybe when I'm exhaling through the nostrils, I'm exhaling all over myself or something. I don't know. I'm so cold. And I'm
Don't
already
worry.
quite cold anyway, my hands and feet. So it just makes it really uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I understand. Let me observe you once tomorrow, then I will be able to help you better, like with
Okay.
this.
All right. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Any other doubt? No? Okay. So let's meet tomorrow then. Yeah. So everyone, bye bye. Take care.
Bye. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank